So, what would be your top 3 tips for obtaining better negotiation outcomes? So, if you could put 3 things in front of every lawyer, what would those 3 things be that actually move outcomes?
So one thing that I think in the mediation context is important is at this point, I almost never will do opening statements anymore because I feel like that causes emotional issues and can be counterproductive. I think it's better to get into a collaborative isn't the right word, but into a mode where you're thinking more about resolution as opposed to fighting. And I find that the opening statements more oftentimes do more harm than good. It's not always the case. There are some times where this is your only opportunity to speak to this decision maker on the other side, and it's important to do it. But to me, that's become more of the exception than the rule. I think it's important to understand when is the right time to initiate, and understanding how to leverage, how to leverage milestones in the case that are going to change the risk profile for both sides. And, the risk drives a lot of resolutions here. And when someone's facing, when someone's not facing any events in the near future that are going to change that risk outcome, they're going to be very committed to their own perspective on the case, and it's going to be harder to move. So I think it's important to think through where you are, when do you want to initiate mediation or negotiations. It's a successful resolution really starts with getting on the same page with your client, understanding what are they looking for, and getting them. Many times clients are looking for something that's unrealistic, and starting a negotiation at a time when the client is expecting something unrealistic is not necessarily going to work. It's unlikely to work. So there can be times where you have to work with your client over a period of time to get them into a point where what they're willing to accept is within the realm of possible settlement. So, you have to have your client in the right place as well before you start a process if you're really looking to get it to a resolution.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of the Meaningful Mediation Podcast. If you did, be sure to like, subscribe, and comment. Additional episodes can be found on YouTube and your favorite podcast channels. Until next time, less dispute, more resolution.